Are you ready to take control of your life and build your ideal future? Striving for financial independence and a clear plan of action? Do you feel like you should be doing more with your investments? Welcome to Ready Investor One with your guide, Paul David Thompson, a full-time real estate investor who no longer depends on a day job. Strap in and get ready to level up your life.
Hello, investors. This is Paul David Thompson. Our game is investing. I'm your guide, and the outcome belongs to you. Hey there, investors. Welcome to Ready Investor One, where I discuss the mindset and mechanics of investing so that you can lead a life completely of your own design. And today I'm joined by Josh Eberly, who is a marketing expert and real estate investor. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Paul. Looking forward to the show and ready to talk marketing.
And guys, this is not just one of those conversations about marketing where we're talking about the pie in the sky out there conversations. We're going to get really into what we're doing because Josh is the guy that I've hired to do my pay-per-click. So this is an actual conversation that that you might be having with somebody you're hiring, or the things that you should be thinking about in your business to do this online marketing. So Josh, share with our listeners who you are and what you're up to these days.
And thanks for that intro, Paul. So I'm Josh Eberly. I am the COO of Complan Media. I also am the owner, founder of 717homebuyers.com. We have a couple other companies in the past, kind of entrepreneurial spirit. And right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to grow my real estate investing business. That could be through, anything from wholesaling to buy and hold, to private money. And I'm also trying to grow our services on the marketing side.
Gotcha. So let's talk about Complan Media for a minute. What do they do and what's your role there?
Perfect. So I'm the COO, Chief Operating Officer. Mm-hmm. We are a mid-sized agency based in Lancaster, PA, and we are really focused on business growth. So a lot of our clients are going to be in the $10 to $50 million range, bigger companies that are looking for growth, sustainable growth across the board, and we're a full-service agency. So we do everything from website design, development, paid traffic, SEO, you name it in digital marketing, we essentially do it. And we're very particular about who we partner with and who our clients are. So that's Complan Media for you.
Okay. That's Complan Media. So where you're the COO. So the reason I brought that up is that reinforces your expertise and your experience in the field of digital marketing. Now let's talk about 717 Home Buyers. That's your real estate investing business. Is that right?
Correct. So I started real estate about 3 years ago. And I was in the digital marketing field at the time. And I was like, wow, I should just marry the two and get smart about what I do. And I started working online with a simple website. Everyone has like carrot websites and whatnot. And I quickly started developing my marketing channels and doing some marketing, getting some deals in, getting some deal flow. And, we kind of turned it into a business, from a hobby to a business, which a lot of people want to do. And so I'm now the owner of that site. We also partner with other investors in their localized area to kind of apply the marketing principles that we learned. And we spent a lot of money failing, figuring things out. We now do that. So we're kind of looking to grow our services and looking for partners in different areas as well.
Okay. So then you have a business of services to other real estate investors like me, for which I'm one of your clients. And I certainly know what you do for me, but share with the audience that service and kind of who you're focusing on helping.
Sure. So we are focused 100% on the real estate investor who wants to scale. We're also focused primarily in either the buy and hold or the wholesale investor.
Right.
We're looking for motivated sellers. That's the biggest thing. And what we provide is PPC, normally Google ads. We do Facebook ads as well for some of our clients. And we also provide SEO services for those investors. And what we found is a lot of those investors, they really want to focus on what they're good at in their business, which could be selling. Maybe it's the operations side.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just they love real estate and want to make money. A lot of them have a hard time with technology or understanding what to do online. So we kind of fill that gap where we come in, we have experience in the field, we have experience in the niche in the industry, and we apply our knowledge and help become a part of your team almost seamlessly.
And so your service is dedicated towards, I would say, relatively small solopreneur or growing real estate investors who are looking to find motivated sellers. You help people like me find motivated sellers online, which I've done a lot of marketing and I've experimented with a lot of things, and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at everything except for the online stuff. I still don't feel like, and I'm a technical guy. I mean, I'm an engineer by trade, but there is a lot to figuring out SEO somewhat, but definitely pay-per-click, and I don't even know about Facebook ads. So I like to go through each one of those for those of those on the call who may not know exactly what these things are when we say SEO and pay-per-click, and we'll talk about the role of each one of those. So let's start with SEO. What is it, and why is that important?
So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And the simplest way to put it, Paul, for me is if you go to Google, or you go to, whatever your favorite
Bing
search
or whatever.
Bing, or it used to be Yahoo back in the day, and you type in any words into the search bar, the results that come up are what we like to call search engine results. And you will see at the top, there usually will be some of the results. They're kind of a little more bolder. They'll say ad next to them. That would be what we call PPC. But if you scroll further down the page, you'll notice that there is usually about 10 results in order, and those are what we call organic listings. And so SEO is simply the practice of trying to optimize your organic listings and trying to rank higher in Google so that you get free traffic to your website.
And so this is an algorithm for which Google or the equivalent bots are out there scraping the internet for all these keywords that people type in. And so when you type in sell my house fast Lancaster, then Google's already indexed the internet based on that, and they rank a given website based on this kind of not entirely fully understood algorithm by us, but we kind of can influence that algorithm by littering or sprinkling our website with that same content in our websites. Is that a fair assessment?
It's a fair assessment, yeah. And as you mentioned, nobody knows Google's algorithm. So if anyone claims that, do not hire that person. Disclaimer. So there's like 60 plus ranking factors. Even people, if you talk to your Google account rep, because when you sign up for an account, they offer a free call, they get you spend more money. Even those guys, they have no idea what all the ranking factors are. So there's 60 plus out there. There are things we know that can affect and do move the needle for you, and we like to focus on those first.
Okay.
But essentially, Google is sending out what I call spiders. They're sending out these little spiders throughout the internet, and as people are making websites and publishing pages, and you're putting content out there, Google is crawling them, and these little spiders are basically telling Google what that page is about. And so Google is collecting all that information, and then it has this ranking algorithm and says, hey, Paul's site over here is about real estate investing. Well, what makes Paul's site more relevant than Josh's site about real estate investing? So there has to be some kind of ranking algorithm. And that's where you really get deep into SEO and start to learn about all the things that can help you rank higher.
And if you could rank the top 2 or 3 in your opinion, what are the things that people should focus on first when doing SEO?
So the biggest things with SEO that you should focus on, and a lot of them are actually pretty simple, title tags, which are like what your pages are actually titled. Because if you type in a keyword into Google and your site comes up, you'll notice that what you title the page is the result that you see there. That's really important. The second thing is verifying your site in Search Console. A lot of people think there's like some kind of tactic they need to do first, but if you verify your site in Search Console, Google actually tells you a lot of things you need to fix. So that's a big one there. And then the third one I would say is building quality links and or getting mentions from other websites to yours. And so back in the early 2000s and stuff, people were selling these link farms, and there was all these ways to manipulate the search engine rankings. And Google kind of put a squash on that, and they kind of kept up with it, but over the years. But if you notice the really big sites and what builds authority now, it's getting quality links and content mentions on authoritative sites. So if you can get on bigger sites, if you can get on podcasts, you can get on other places, and they link to you, they're kind of passing their authority back to you. So, it's the same as if you went up on stage and Robert Kiyosaki's like, Paul is the best guy in Little Rock, Arkansas,
right,
for real estate. Everyone's going to come talk to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if you were on Business Insider or Forbes or something, and they're like, hey, the best real estate investor in Little Rock is Paul. Everyone on the internet is going to think that you are the best person. So it's really about building authority. And a lot of people mistake that number 3 there, like building authority. They mistake that and they don't focus on that, but it really is a game changer.
Yeah. So this is what was referred to as backlinks, right? So you have links built into your website back to, or more importantly, other websites linked to your website, not just you linking out. So it's not it's unidirectional, not bidirectional. These links. So, for example, if we have an investment website and CNBC links to our website, that gives us a lot of credibility and authority. That's the idea behind it. And like you mentioned, from a real estate investor who's trying to develop a relationship, who would be the right kind of places that we should be trying to get our people to link to our website?
Great question. So the first one is pretty simple. It's actually free. It's local business directories. So a lot of people kind of just forget about these because they think they're like spammy, or they're free to get on, so there must be value. But local business directories are one of the easiest ways to start getting ranked in your area. And there's probably a list. I think I have a list of over 100. Happy to share those. But you can go on, sign up for free, get a free link back to your website, and that just starts getting you indexed. It gets your name out there, your business name out there.
So is this the equivalent of like a local version of a Yelp for businesses, like it's the Chamber of Commerce, or like these kind of things, right?
Yeah, like Alignable, Chamber of Commerce, freebusinessdirectory.com, like those type of things. Those sites do have a lot of domain rank, and yes, they are linking out to a ton of places, but there is some value there, and especially if you're in a market where a lot of your competitors haven't done link building, or they don't have high domain ranking websites, that can actually get you ranked on the first page very quickly.
Gotcha.
But just doing that alone, and it's free.
So I've experimented with this strategy of going in front of a house that I've helped, and I take a quick vlog type video, less than 2 minutes. Hey, this is a house. This seller had some problems. I came here and helped it, and as a video, and I upload that to my YouTube channel. And then you put the appropriate tags in your YouTube channel and then embed that into your website. Is that still a viable kind of a hack around getting because from what I understand, Google's prioritizes videos, especially ones from YouTube, over everywhere else. Is that still a viable strategy?
Yeah, it's still a viable strategy. I would say it's not as authoritative as getting like a physical text link back to your website from a site, but it is really good because Google is going to see and measure very important metrics. So like time on page is important. So if you think about it, nobody is going to read for 10 minutes on a website now. I mean, some people do, right? And on average, like, if you're in the real estate game, between 2 to 3 minutes, somebody's going to understand what you do, how you do it, and then what to do next. So a video on there will keep them on the page longer, keep them more engaged.
Right.
And with the video too, they'll probably watch the video and then read some of the text. So the videos help in a lot of other ways than just like kind of like a link from YouTube back.
I see.
Keeps the people on the page, which is one of the ranking factors for SEO.
Perfect. Okay, so that's SEO. So I think the priorities you said were first. The third one was link building. What was the second one? Was
Google Search Console, verifying your site in Google Search Console.
Okay. And the first one was
I believe we said on SEO, was it title tags? So title tags on your website.
Title tags, Search Console, and backlinks. So you take a big takeaway from here on SEO. These are things you could do for yourself, right? That's all doable, but there's a couple of things there that you mentioned that I haven't done. Yeah, I've got some homework now. Okay, so that's SEO, and that's probably something in a lot of cases you can pull off yourself. There are services like Carrot and Lead Propeller and et cetera that do a pretty good job of making it easy for you to get a website up, and there's a service fee associated with it, but they make it super easy to get a website up and kind of build that credibility if you can drive people to that website. So let's talk about those ads, those pay-per-click ads, which I'm super glad that I have you helping me because I have no idea what I'm doing. I've tried to learn it. I've tried to get into Google's AdWords, and it's really quite daunting. First of all, how important is it? And how would you suggest somebody start off if they wanted to do it yourself at first?
Yeah, great questions there. So I'll kind of split those into two, the important part and then start out.
Okay.
So the importance. So I know from my marketing background and kind of where we work at, and a lot of research and development, that if you're running paid media and you're bidding on keywords that you want to rank for maybe organically, Google actually favors you in the organic rankings. So you can look this up. So it's very interesting. So I've seen this time and time again where, we have a big client comes in, they have a big PPC budget, they're spending a lot of money, and then they decide to shift a little bit away from those keywords and their organic rankings fall down. So there is some correlation there. What I use, and this is the business mindset that I have for it. If I want to know how to make money in my business, the fastest way in real estate to me in marketing, especially if you're starting out, is to run PPC ads. And here's why. If I'm going to go after We Buy Houses, Little Rock, or We Buy Houses Lancaster, or eventually organically, I want to know what keywords actually make me money. Right? So it's one thing to rank for keywords and get traffic to your website. It's another thing to get traffic and actually make sales and money, right?
Right.
So PPC provides me that research and that kind of this on the front end of knowing, okay, what keywords are actually driving sales for me, so that when I go invest time on SEO and I go and do these other activities, I know where to invest my time on SEO. I'm not wasting money or resources or time later down the road on SEO, which takes much longer, right? You're looking at a much longer period. So PPC is very important for me in that aspect. It sets the groundwork and the foundation of, hey, am I in a business? Where do I need to spend my money and time trying to rank organically and building this thing up over a period of time? Secondly, like I said earlier, it's kind of in the user psychology. So the people who are typing into Google, like sell my house fast or We Buy Homes or anything of that nature, they are looking for the most part to move and take action decisively. So they're at the bottom of the funnel in marketing. So we always talk about marketing. I always say there's three parts of the funnel. There's the top of the funnel, which is like, hey, I'm generally interested. The middle of the funnel where I may have seen something and I'm exploring my options. And then there's a bottom of the funnel, which is I want to buy right now. And when somebody types in, sell house for cash, they're probably in a bad situation life-wise, and they're at the bottom of the funnel. So they're ready to take action. Like they want to sell their house. They want to get out of that situation. They want to get rid of basically their problems.
Sure.
And so PPC allows you to be at the top in Google by paying to be there at any time. So that's why it's important to me, because I, one, get the research, understand what makes my business money. And then two, I can supersede all of my competitors by being at the top. And get those leads before they do. And from a real estate investing standpoint, and I don't know, Paul, if you have any metrics on your guys' side, but most people, when they fill a lead form out for us, at least here in Lancaster, most people, they won't go and fill other lead forms out. Like they'll talk to us first, right? As long as our follow-up is good. It's super strange, but it's, it's about, I would say about 60 to 70% of them only talk to us first, and then they go look at other options. So if I can get first in order in Google and get that lead in first, I have much greater success rate than waiting on, them to kind of scroll down the page on Google and click on my ad.
All right, let's dive into that a little more, because that's huge what you just said. So kind of set the stage here. This is having a Google AdWords account, and you've selected a certain set of keywords that you want to pay for. You have an ad that is basically up there, and so when people type in "we buy houses Lancaster" or some variation of that, and there's a whole science in kind of figuring out which of one or is the most commonly used in your area, and you rank for the top, say 10 of those, and you show up in the ad there that's delivered. When somebody clicks on it, you basically bid to pay. I'll pay so much per click, and that changes per market, per lead word, per ad word, etc. And in really competitive markets that are high, like a Dallas or Nashville or something like that, those numbers are much higher than they would be in Little Rock or Tulsa or Lancaster. But you have a budget. You can say I'll spend $100 a day, $500 a month. It's kind of you get to set that up. And there is a whole art and science to doing that, which is what Josh's service is figuring out how to maximize your budget. So kind of that set aside, you explain that very well. When somebody, in my experience, and I think Josh would agree with this, when someone clicks on that and you get a lead into your website that says came from pay-per-click, those are the easiest leads to convert and often the most profitable, because you have filtered someone down to that time when they are ready to sell, much more than when you go and work really hard and do a bunch of letters and all this kind of stuff. But the cost to that is that it costs more to get that lead. So your cost per lead tends to be higher for pay-per-click. And, I don't know your numbers, but it depends on the market, but you might get 5 or 10 of those leads per month, but they tend to be very, very, very good, high converting leads.
Right. Yeah. And I'll speak to that a little bit. So we run numbers, and I track the keywords through, when a lead comes through, and that's important there. And so I know locally for us, we're in the 1 to 7 to 1 to 8 range on closing on leads. And we're in a decently priced market. So, we're not in the highest priced markets, but we are paying a substantial amount per lead. Now, what I do know though, for my business, and the real estate kind of mind kicks in here, is if I put $1 in, how much money am I going to make on the backside? Right. And so I always think of my real estate business as, if I have to spend some money to make a lot of money, but I know what the metrics are, I'm going to do that day in and day out. Mm-hmm. And those are the metrics that we as a company help you track as a real estate investor. Because a lot of investors start out, like you said, Paul, and they're just kind of like, I'm going to try AdWords. And they throw a lot of keywords in there, and they spend a lot of money, and nothing comes in, and they don't really know what to do with the lead or how to talk to the lead. And so a lot of people kind of give up. And it's the same true of any kind of paid media or even online leads in general. People give up because they're not able to close, or they don't have the correct training or mentorship, basically, to be able to close those deals. And that's kind of where we come in on our end, where we partner with people to create those systems for them. And then we even talk to them on the backside, like, hey, when the lead comes in, are you guys following it up? Are you guys doing these things? How are you talking to the lead? That's the value of what we bring to the marketplace.
Yeah, it makes no sense to spend $1,000 to maybe as high as $8,000, I think you were saying, per lead, to not follow up and get and call that person who spent the effort to find you on their website. You spend all this time and effort to get them there, and then you wait 3 or 4 days, a week and a half, to call somebody, and they probably sold it last week because they went to all the effort, and they're desperate, and they went through all the effort to get there, and you weren't responsive. So my take on it is, if you're brand new and you don't have a lot of experience and you're still learning how to close deals, pay-per-click is not where you start. Pay-per-click is in the hierarchy of leads. Once you're really good at closing and you know how to get these leads, you know how to take them down, you know how to monetize them, now you're thinking, now how can I put in $1,000 to get $5,000 out? And you have the ability to measure it. And once you can measure it and get because you can triple your money based on your ads, depending on your market. I'm just throwing a number out. You can potentially triple your money, put $10,000 in and get $30,000 out So you put $10,000 in marketing in, and 3 months later, you might have 3 deals that you closed and made $10,000 a pop. These are not extreme numbers or examples. That's a viable number, right?
Right. Yeah. I always tell the story of our first deal. So this is always a fun one because, and back up Paul's point before I jump into that, Paul. So, learn how to close first and then jump into these things. So the number one mistake I see a lot of people make in real estate investing is that they have all the fancy methods, they pay for all the courses, they do all this stuff, but they don't know how to close deals. And so it's kind of like, you're running the race 99% to the finish line and you don't cross the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to figure out how to close deals. Like how do you talk to sellers? Are you the person maybe to close deals? Maybe you're not great at communicating with sellers. Maybe it's somebody else on the team. Maybe you find a partner, whatever. You got to start close some deals, get your feet wet a little bit, and then start into marketing. It'll be a lot easier. But yeah, to speak to your point there, money in, money out. Our first deal, we turned on the ads and, we spent some money. It was about $100 and we got a lead in pretty quick. And I was amazed because the lead that came in ready to go, wanted to sell their house. It was like everything you dreamed of. And they sold us, actually, we bought the property and we've turned around and listed it like the next day. And we ended up netting about $28,000 on that transaction.
Nice.
So I put $100 in and made $28,000. Now that doesn't happen every single month, and every time. But the idea is that, if you can measure it effectively and get your conversion rates down and know, when a lead comes in and what's our closing ratio, what's our cost, you can build a machine and that machine can start to work for you and create a business that is free for you to work like outside of instead of working inside of it.
Right. You turn on the marketing machine and you step out and you become the business owner. And I would say that's just the phase of life that I'm like developing myself. I'm not there yet. I'm trying to raise myself away from being in the business to having a business that I work on. I have people in the business working for me, doing certain things. And one of the things that I've done is instead of trying to work in the marketing, I now have outsourced the marketing, the online stuff to Josh. And then I have a business partner internally with Cody, and he's doing the marketing. He's the marketing guy internally. And you guys handle our marketing. And I look back for reports. As a business owner, what's the key performance indicators? What is the numbers? And I'm thinking about it for like a CEO would. As random example, I put in $1,000 this month. I paid the invoices and I have all the things. Where are the numbers? Where are the results that I've gotten back? And I'm still working on how to like have those numbers dialed in perfectly so that I know which marketing avenue, which marketing channel is the most effective. But what I have seen is with pay-per-click, the quality of the lead beats practically everything else out there. I've yet to find anything that when you get the right lead, that lead is ready to just lay over. It's like, just take my house. I'll give it to you. And so that is what's so fantastic about that angle once you get to the stage of your business where you're ready for it. And that's not where you start. So so depending on where you are in your stage, know that this is out there. And I'll tell you real honestly, 2 years ago, and Josh has seen my attempts and, was very polite about it, but he's like, basically I bungled the whole thing. I tried it. I was basically throwing spaghetti against the wall and none of it stuck. I was like, well, I just can't figure this out. I'm going to do the stuff I do know. I just kind of threw my hands up. And then I met Josh and I said, okay, I'm willing to try again, but I'm not going to be the guy doing it. I need you do it for me. But I want to see those metrics so that I know my money being spent is giving me some sort of return on the back end. And it's not a 1 week return. It's like a several month process because you have to kind of set it up, establish your credibility, and then start getting the leads trickle in. Is that a fair way of putting it? Yeah,
it's definitely a fair way. And to your point earlier, like cost, a lot of people, when they start out, the big mistakes I'll see too when people start out is they'll only go after broad keywords, or they'll only go after keywords that are, associated per se with, wholesaling or the real estate market in general. So like they'll only go after we buy houses or, sell my house for cash. And there's a lot of gold in the long tail, which is the keywords that people aren't thinking about, such as like, how do I sell my house as is near the water or something of that nature, right? Where it's not a traditional search, and that's really where we come in and shine, and we try to help people because, we have a keyword list. I think it's like 800, 900 keywords at this point. You have a negative keyword list, which a lot of people probably don't understand when they get in AdWords, like, oh, I can put in negatives, like keywords to not bid for, because you're going to get a lot of those when you start up into this game. And the other thing too is there's a thing called quality score. And if you're not in AdWords and you're not in this industry, you probably don't know what that is. And so if you go on AdWords and you throw in a bunch of keywords and you have your ads running, Google actually rates the relevancy of the search with the ad and then with your landing page on a scale of 1 to 10. And so the closer you are to 10, the more relevant it is. And Google actually decreases the bids for those keywords. So that's a good way of keeping your costs low. So you might, in a market, if you have a really bad keyword score, which a lot of people who just kind of do it themselves, they end up having bad keyword scores because they clump them all together. You're probably paying, sometimes twice as much as somebody that has a really optimized account.
Got it.
Dollar goes a lot further if you really optimize the account and look at the intent of the searches and match those to keywords.
And so we're going to move on to Facebook ads, which I think a lot of the same concepts apply. There's certainly nuances, but both for pay-per-click and for Facebook ads, what I would say is these are not for the faint of heart. You have to put some money up and you got to do your research, take the courses, hire the people, whatever it takes. You're going to spend some money, whether it's your time to invest in a course or you hiring somebody else to do it for you to understand the nuances. And there's a lot, and it changes. It's not just one thing you figure out and you're done. And that's just true with marketing in general. This is not a one-time, set it and forget it philosophy. You're constantly testing the market. Okay, so that's pay-per-click. Now let's do into Facebook ads, which I have not done yet for real estate investing. I've done it for like doing webinars for my course, which I had moderate success with, but was very confused the whole time. For real estate investors, I wonder you have done some of this, right? For real estate investors, what's been what's your take on that? Where does this rank in the priority and how well does it convert?
Yeah. So what I will say with Facebook ads is you better be ready to follow up. So the quality of the lead that you're going to get from a Facebook ad is a lot of times less qualified, I would say, than a PPC ad or someone found you organically or a referral. So a lot of investors, they run Facebook ads or who've been doing Facebook ads understand it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
So you need to generate a lot of leads and you need to have an automated follow-up system to make this work very effectively for your business. The first place to start that a lot of people start out is remarketing. So as you mentioned earlier, Paul, remarketing is essentially somebody visits your website, they don't fill a form out or they don't call you or whatever your conversion is, and they leave. On Facebook, you have the opportunity to show them an ad to try to incentivize them to come back to your Facebook or take an action. So the first place to start a lot of times in your real estate business is setting up a Facebook pixel and then getting an ad just for people who come in who are interested in your website, but maybe aren't ready to take action right now. And you can show them ads. So one of my favorite things to do is on a remarketing ad is to even say, hey, we have a cash offer for your house. Click over here. And you really want to incentivize people knowing that they came to your site and that whatever they saw there wasn't enough to convince them to put their information in. Right. So maybe on the backside, if you knew that they visited a specific page on your website, like, how it works page, have a PDF guide of how you guys work with sellers to sell their house. They don't have to clean their house out, all that kind of stuff. You want to give them relevant material based on the actions on the website. So that's kind of remarketing. On the front end, on more of a cold marketing side, I have run a lot of ads for investors in different markets. It works differently, like I said, in PPC in every market. But the important part there is to really speak to, where someone looking to sell their house for cash would be coming from. So you want to be empathetic. You don't want to come off too strong. You want to stick with your business is. You want to list all the benefits. So, no commissions, no fees, close fast, things of that nature right on the ad. And you want to picture, you want to put a picture in that mind of that user of either a house that they would associate with selling. So maybe like, if you live in a middle-class neighborhood or market and that's what you buy, you put that in the ad. If you buy distressed properties, you put that in the ad, right? Because you want to give them an idea about what kind of house you buy. Or you want to create video assets to show in the ads where it's your face and you're building credibility and trustworthiness with the ad. Once you have those, you want to run the ad. You want to get your audience targeting down, which you can actually select. I believe in Facebook now, it's a special audience. So you have to select certain qualifications, but you can select people from a variety of different
demographics. Yeah.
Basically targeting choices, but there's like 50 now. They just broke it out into special ad categories. So there's about 50 now. I usually look for people who are looking to buy or looking to sell, even like first-time home buyer type deals. And so then you put that up there, you get your targeting all set up. And what you want to do is you either want to drive into your website to get a conversion on an ad, or you can do what's called a lead form ad on Facebook. And a lead form ad on Facebook is simply, they click on the ad and a little form pops up on Facebook and asks them for their name, their email, their phone number, whatever it is. So they never have to leave the site. They fill that in. It can actually be auto-filled by their Facebook profile. And then that information goes right over to you. So there's a way of, advertising on Facebook natively to get seller leads versus making them go to your website. And what we found is that on Facebook, if you do the native forms, they're going to be really low quality, but they're going to be really cheap.
Yep.
If you drive them to your website, they're going to be much higher quality, but they're going to be really expensive. So it's kind of a catch-22 between the two.
Sure. Okay, that was a whole lot to process because I don't even know all of that myself. So, one thing I want to clarify: when we're talking about ads in the pay-per-click, all these are these little digital footprint ads. They're text-based ads that you see based on a search. When you're talking about a Facebook ad, this is what I think of as a true ad. You sit down, you think about what is the frame of mind of the person who is on Facebook at any given time, and how can I present to them some sort of asset that is going to speak to their state of mind. And Facebook's ability to parse that out is incredible, and it takes some experience to figure out how to do that. I have not gotten there yet. I have tried, and it is something to take on. It is not something you go into lightly. So far, I have not yet gotten to the place where I want to go to the Facebook ads. So speak to that as to somebody like me, somebody who's actively doing deals. We're doing pay-per-click. We're starting to get results for pay-per-click. When does it make sense? Does it make sense to go to the Facebook ad direction?
It makes sense to go to the Facebook ad direction when you, one, have enough traffic on your site to really get the remarketing campaign going. So, a lot of people will not have enough traffic, especially if you're starting off. You're going to get a couple of visitors a day. It's not going to be enough to actually drive the results you want. And then two, it makes sense when you actually have the back end build up enough operationally to follow up. And that's the important part. With any of these paid advertising programs, the paid side is one part of it. The actual follow-up is the other side. And if you cannot follow up right away, or your team can't follow up right away, you don't have a system in place, make sure you get that in place before you even start on the paid end.
Or you're just pouring money down the drain. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So what he's saying there is somebody who can respond to that call or to that lead, they can pick up the phone and call them within an hour, probably, if not faster. I mean, you want to respond to a pay-per-click lead quickly, or a pay-per-click ad. You want to be able to respond, and if they don't buy or sell their property to you within those 3 days, that you put them into a CRM in the back, customer relationship management system in the back end that has a virtual assistant or an outside salesperson who has triggered actions to follow up until they do get a sale. And if you don't have that in place, spending a lot of money on pay-per-click and spending a lot of money on, especially on Facebook ads, just doesn't make sense, because I think from the Facebook ad direction, you can get a lot of leads pretty quickly. that you need, that you can work on. Whereas pay-per-click, they tend to kind of trickle in, but they tend to be very high quality. So it's a trade-off. And I'm not at the place yet in a business where I'm willing to put the money into the marketing, create the assets, and have the system in the back end at scale to respond to, 50 leads a week, maybe? I mean, is that unreasonable?
No, that's not unreasonable. I mean, there's, and this actually works really well for real estate agents as well.
Yeah.
I know I have friends in the industry, it's less than $2 a lead for real estate. Right. So you can get a lot of leads very quickly. The lead quality is not going to be amazing. But as we said, if you don't have someone in the back end, it doesn't really matter. And we have a great rule at our company, it's 5 minutes or less. If a lead comes in and the phone doesn't get picked up and they're getting called in 5 minutes or less, and they're getting emailed in 5 minutes or less, we measure that as a KPI in our company. And I think an important thing for real estate investors to be reminded of is this classic saying, it's hire slow and fire fast. Right? So be careful who you bring on your team. You want to have trusted people on your team. But if people just aren't able to, motivate themselves and take care of their responsibilities on the backside, you as the business owner are at a lot of risk, especially if you're paying for those leads. So when we have partners come on board, I always question them and say, hey, how's your back end? What's your lead follow-up system? Because to me, I'm looking at the relationship more as, we both succeed, we both make more money. Whereas, we could do a great job of generating leads, and my partner comes to me in a month and says, hey, this is working out, Josh. See you later, because their back end's not in place.
Right. Okay, so I think we've covered the three big topics we planned. Are there any ideas or questions that I should have asked but didn't, that you want to make sure people hear about advertising and what you do in your business?
No, not really. I would just say another free tip too. A lot of people overlook this. Google My Business. Make sure you set that up. Make sure you get it verified. Postcard in the mail.
Yep.
You have to type the code in, but that'll help you a lot with localized search and also give you a little presence online. A lot of business owners forget to do that, or they're not sure, but it's free. You don't need the guys that are going to call you and tell you they work for Yahoo, Google, and Yelp all at the same time. So you can set that up yourself. Super easy process. Takes probably 10 minutes.
And I was guilty of that. I was talking to Josh, and he was kind of auditing my stuff. And he said, yeah, have you done this thing, like automate your confirm your business? Like, well, what are you talking about? He said, here, I'm going to show you. And within a couple of days, a postcard came to my PO box, and I was able, or my mailing address. I was able to confirm my business address, and now I show up as a legitimate place. So when people look for me, they can just natively see where my mailing address is, and I look much more legitimate. Just when people are searching, but just probably to the internet as well. I've been confirmed. So that's a big tip, takeaway. Definitely do that if you haven't already. So Josh, we have just touched on this topic. We could spend, there are entire courses out there. There are entire huge things to go into. And it's really important if you're running this kind of business in order to get leads consistently. So if listeners are interested in learning more about what you do, what you offer, where can listeners find you?
Yeah, great. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, on my profile, or you can go to our site. It's called Glanzair. That's GLANZAIR.com.
Okay.
A lot of form on there, and my partner and I will get in touch.
Okay, perfect. I will make sure and put that in the show notes so you guys can get a hold of Josh and talk to him. I cannot express how helpful he's been in our business. I fully endorse him. He is the marketer that we use, and he's who we've also recommended several other people that are happy. So to learn more about what I'm doing, what Josh is doing, and in the online community that I'm building, we're doing things like virtual meetups, live Q&As. I've been a guest on one that Josh did. Josh has been on one that I've done. And you want to hear more about those things, text the word investor to the number 33777. Make sure and check out the links that I'm providing for Josh so that you can get a hold of him. And on behalf of me and Josh, thank you for sharing this time with me as you lead a life completely of your own design.
Thank you for listening to today's show. This episode is ended, but your future is waiting. Get started right now. Head over to www.pauldavidthompson.com to access all links and resources mentioned in today's show, as well as special bonus content Paul creates exclusively for you, podcast listener. That's www.pauldavidthompson.com. Until the next time, level up your future by investing in yourself today.